Welcome, everybody, to episode 200 of the China Show.
It's the 200th Spectacular. I hope you've set your DVRs to record this special event as we are live. And we promised today was going to be a very fun episode.
Yes, but we're also covering a very serious topic. Our main topic, of course, is about the Ukrainian girl that China has cloned and made into a Russian propagandist for Chinese media.
Yeah, so I wanted to clear something up because I was just perusing chat pre-show. And some people are like, oh, did they face swap her? Oh, did they steal her account? Or it's way worse than you think.
Yes.
It's all of those things times in infinity and beyond. Yeah. That's a quote Buzz Lightyear.
Exactly. But that's going to be the main segment of the show later on. We've got a lot to cover.
Yes. And
we're going to start by sauntering into what's new. This is where we talk about what's new with regards to China. And today I thought we'd make this whole what's new segment pretty much about Slopaganda. So Slopaganda is a term that we coined when China tries to do propaganda, but it falls flat.
That's correct.
Okay.
Insert diarrhea noise.
Yes, exactly. So I thought I'd start with this, okay? I came across this the other day, and let's play it. It says, here is something you can do without any fear in China, but you can't in US or EU. Okay.
Can I say something quick?
Sure.
Before we get into the jokes about this is part of a massissive campaign right now.
Yes.
To say USA bad, China good in any way, shape, or form.
Yes.
It's everywhere.
How about just saying like, wow, look at this fun, creative way to decorate your phone case or something.
Life hack.
Yeah. Why is it got to be America and you EU bad?
If you are not watching, if you're listening, somebody is putting a few hundred RMB, which is the currency of China, bills inside of their phone case to make like a decorative phone case.
Yes.
It's like $50.
And it's like to carry this around is what they're saying. Like,
and they're like, you can't carry $50 around.
Yeah, so let's take a look. This is definitely what we call Slopaganda. Okay, now I found the comments on this hilarious because this backfired this time. Because, I've been seeing a lot of this. First of all, the biggest push right now is that the Chinese economy is doing so well and that the West is crumbling. That's their big talking point.
Huge!
And on top of that, they're trying to say it's so safe in China, but it's so dangerous everywhere else in the world, especially in America. So this is one of those attempts to show this, right? I love these. Let's read them one by one. You read the first one. What's the first comment here?
It's not really a thing in the U.S. By the way, my phone was stolen out of my hand in China twice. As mine, too.
Yeah.
I've been robbed in China multiple times, and I haven't been robbed. I'm trying to think of other countries. I've been robbed in China, maybe one other place, not in the U.S. So it's very interesting that this is the talking point that you can't walk around with $50 if you're in America.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll read the next one, then you can read the next one. While China is transitioning to digital currency away from cash, 100 RMB is only worth $13.90. Trying to find your point you missed.
These are pretty good.
Yeah.
Next one says, to be fair, nobody wants to steal useless Chinese currency. And that's actually the most damning one. Who wants to steal RMB? You can't use it anywhere.
I bet you could put like whatever that is, like 800 RMB, Chinese yuan in a phone case here in America. Yes. You could throw it on the road. Pretty much no one wants to take it because they can't use it.
I mean, they'll probably pick it up as a novelty.
Yeah, it'd be like a nice novelty. Yeah. But the best comment is to come. This is probably my absolute favorite comment out of all of these ones was the, come on, there. Right. In the US, you can't put half of a monthly salary for most of the population into a phone case. There's not enough space.
That is salt in the wound.
And it's true.
It's so true.
Because look, that person put about 800 to 1,000 RMB, which is the equivalent of how much in US dollars? $100.
Right now, it's tough. It's
probably about $100, $130 or something. Let's see. Yeah.
It's $111.
$111. Okay. Yeah. And that's true. A monthly salary for many people in China, 2,000 RMB is their monthly salary.
Oh, yeah.
Easy.
It's not poor people, guys.
No, that's urban people.
So when polled in major Chinese cities, a lot of graduates from master's programs, from bachelor's programs in China, in their first job are making about 2,000 RMB per month in cities where you can't survive on that, right? And that's pretty normal in China.
Yeah.
So half your month's salary in the back of your phone. You can't do that in America because it won't fit.
It won't fit.
It's not going to fit.
And it is. It's pretty damning, but it's true. Yeah. That is half a month's salary for most people, like in general in China, you could say. It's like a median average.
Yeah, the median salary in America was around $70,000. So if
A
you
year,
were to,
yeah.
Yeah, a year. So if you were to break that down to months, you're not fitting that in the back of your phone.
No, you're not.
Not going to happen. Why would I put play money in my phone? Again, not a really internationally recognized currency.
No, exactly. Only place I've ever been robbed is in Guangzhou. Twice, actually.
Actually, that's a big place for robbery, too. And that's a major Chinese city, a wealthy Chinese city, first tier.
They had to ban motorcycles there because of the snatch and grab robberies and stuff. And yes, I lived in South Africa. I had stuff stolen in South Africa. I had home invasions, and I had people. I once left my jacket on my chair in my living room in the cottage I lived in, and someone broke the window in the middle of the night and actually grabbed my jacket out. So, it's happened to me in South Africa.
I understand.
But that's a shit country, okay, with very bad crime. In China, I've had stuff stolen. I've had bicycles stolen, e-bikes stolen.
Multiple motorcycles.
I had an electronic dictionary that I had in the back of my bag was stolen from me.
Phones,
when I was,
wallets, run the gamut.
So
anyway.
The reason I'm saying that is here in America, I've never had anything stolen.
No.
Not once. So, yeah.
And while it does happen,
course.
the idea, like, okay, there's a lot of robbery in America, but guess what? To make the comparison with China is like the dumbest thing you could ever do.
Correct.
Anyway.
And the last comment, you can read it.
That's like $50, Limafao.
Limfao, yes, exactly. Anyway, so that's step one of today's Slopaganda. Here's another one. There's been an image that was being shared around of, like the Chinese, I suppose, PLAF or something, the People's Liberation Army Air Force. Now, it's not an official image, but it's what the Wumao was sharing around.
That's interesting, but I'm sorry, I'm a little upset about something you just said.
What?
That thing you said about South Africa. Can you withdraw that real quick?
Oh, sure.
I withdraw that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I withdraw.
Honorable Matisa.
Yeah, I could withdraw that because I am South African. I can say what I want about my own country.
This is true. I just was a little upset.
Yeah. Oops. Anyway, let's continue on with this this lovely image. Now, this is just being shared around. In general, you get these show of force things being shared around on Chinese internet, but it turns out it's just an American B2 and with a very, very, very bad Photoshop. Yeah.
Yo, stop. This is bad. Slopaganda.
That is, again, that's what we call Slopaganda. Do it properly. And this
one's actually like upsetting, though.
This has to be my favorite one, though, out of Slopaganda-wise. Okay, let's just play a little bit and then we'll read what it says. Okay, so this is a tweet from China has been trying to do this Uyghur genocide denial, the problems that they're doing in Xinjiang, the bad things the government's doing in Xinjiang. They've been trying so hard to hide it. They've got dedicated Twitter accounts that are called like Uyghur lifestyle, things like that, right?
Yes.
Where they've got non-stop like propaganda about Xinjiang, how amazing it is and how the West lies and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So this was tweeted out. They said, "Believe it or not, we really love dancing and we dance at every happy occasion in Xinjiang." And it shows two Uyghur women dancing in front of a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi.
Here's the deal. We talked about this, how China really screwed up their genocide denial stuff by constantly making these accounts, by making Uyghur people say, no, there's no genocide, we love to dance, and showing them dance and show how happy they are. And that was one of the most on-the-nose, disturbing as well.
Yeah.
Kind of gotcha moments. Look at all these happy Uyghur people dancing. There's no genocide if they're dancing, right?
Yeah.
And that became like a pervasive thing. Like everyone around the world is like, they keep showing these dancing Uyghur people. Like it's so obvious
dancing
what they're
minorities,
doing, right? And then instead of saying, well, we better not do this propaganda campaign anymore, people have figured it out.
Yeah.
The Xinjiang police files came out. All of these eyewitness reports came out.
The Chinese government themselves have admitted that they are re-education camps and all that kind of stuff, right?
It's horrible. It's been proven time and time again, right? Yeah. What do? They double down and say, no, it's actually true. They really do love dancing.
Yes.
Put this stuff out.
We dance. We just dance at the drop of a hat. Anything happy happens. And, you could reinterpret that. Be like, hey, the Chinese government said we have to dance and then we can consume this meager feast.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
have you noticed they always lay out this feast as if everyone's
It's
got
something I noticed. Remember when I
Yeah.
uncovered like the thousands of accounts
Yeah.
on YouTube that were putting out like anti-Pompeo messages where they're
Yeah.
forcing Uyghurs to be like, no, there is no genocide here. And the Chinese government went around with this campaign and it was so obvious. They
Yes.
just blast the internet with all these videos. There was always these platters of food left out. It was always untouched, right?
Yes.
And it's like people dancing in front of it or have it spread out there being like, there is no genocide in Xinjiang. And there's all this like exorbitant food and
Yeah.
grapes and pastries and, you know.
It's crazy. It's like they let them drink a quarter of that bottle of Pepsi and then they're like, now dance.
Yes.
You want any more? Dance.
Yeah.
You know, and then after they're done dancing, they're like, okay, you can leave now. And that feast doesn't get touched. No one can eat it. But I mean, come on. Asking the audience once again, how genuine do you think this is? Do you think that Uyghur people literally just get up and dance because they are
At every
going to
occasion.
have a meal?
At every occasion.
At every occasion.
Yes, that's what the Chinese government.
They
said.
like successfully take a turd in the bathroom and they're like, woo,
Yes,
get up and dance. You know what I mean? Anything happens to them and they start dancing.
it's nuts.
It's stupid. And the Chinese government keeps pushing this dancing Uyghur narrative everywhere you look.
Yeah.
All you can see are dancing Uyghurs as if they can't do
Do
anything
you know
else.
why? It's so unsuccessful, this propaganda campaign. It's blown up in their face time and time again, but somebody really important came up with this.
Yeah.
And they can't be wrong. And that's what's wonderful and bad about China is that someone can push something so far and it's not working, or it's like blown up in their face, or it's like
Yeah.
it's very unsuccessful, or it's actually exposing a problem.
It is.
But at the same time, nothing can be done about it because if that guy's wrong, then heads roll.
Yeah.
So it's this weird. That's how China works,
Yeah.
right? And it's actually how it will be China's downfall at some point.
It has to
if,
be, yeah.
if no one can answer to the the truth or what actually happens or works.
I can tell you what, when you see dancing Uyghurs in Chinese propaganda, you know something bad is going on.
It's a dog whistle.
Yeah, it's literally there to try and cover up something bad happening.
They used to show pandas.
Yeah.
That used to be like if something really bad in China happened, like there's a big protest about like
You know,
defaulting of loans. They'll show pandas. Now they show dancing Uyghurs.
You know why there's been a big resurgence of this shit? Excuse the language. Is last week we covered it, the VW thing.
Yeah.
The whole using Xinjiang Uyghur forced
Yeah.
labor, the new report from Adrian Zenz
Yeah.
has now really put the whole forced labor, slave labor, the Uyghur situation into the spotlight once again.
And now it has to be investigated
Yeah,
again.
and so now all of a sudden you're seeing dancing Uyghurs
Yeah.
left and right.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Chinese
Slopaganda.
government, you are stupid. You are slopaganda.
Yes. Anyway, poor people that have to do this like
Yeah.
North Korean gunpoint dance for me thing.
Yes,
Anyway,
exactly.
what do we got here?
This is very annoying. Okay, we talked about this when that historical vids or whatever did that big post about the nuclear battery. China invents a nuclear battery, right? Remember?
Yes.
And it got millions of views.
Yes.
And it turns out it's false, it's debunked, it's fake. I don't like to see large accounts posting Chinese propaganda as if it's fact.
Yeah.
And then people picking up, and especially the Chinese propagandists pick up on it and run with it, right? So there's a big Twitter account called Wall Street Silver, which does all kinds of, I don't know, guess political commentary, and I guess...
Why is it called Wall Street
I guess they do
Silver?
something about Wall Street. I don't actually know.
Gotcha.
They posted this typical Chinese propaganda side by side. Look at the USA's subway and look at the Guangzhou Railway.
Yeah, this is actually very much in line with the campaign we've been seeing from all of the CCP shills.
Yeah.
They make these videos where it's this versus thing. In fact, I parodied it on my
Yeah.
new video, on my thumbnail.
Yeah.
It's this USA bad, China good, and they put this together. But what we didn't see is accounts outside of the shill verse, like the
Yeah.
CCP shill verse using this kind of stuff.
So anyway, this is incredibly disingenuous, and it actually made me a little bit angry because you see that tweet got 7.5 million views or more, okay, of people saying that, yeah, look at how amazing China's subway is. Here's the US subway in New York, and they showed like during floods or something where water's pouring down the stairs, the subway station is flooded and
Yeah.
it's a mess. So they showed like, here is the New York subway during a natural disaster.
Yeah.
And here's a pristine, brand new, newly opened subway station in Guangzhou or wherever, right?
Yeah.
And they put it side by side as if it's some kind of an equal comparison. And it made me mad specifically because if you've been watching the show, we covered this last year.
Yeah.
When the Zhengzhou floods happened in Zhengzhou, people drowned inside the subway because the authorities absolutely refused to shut anything down. They knew the floodwaters were coming because they'd opened up the floodgates. They knew the floodwaters were coming, but they didn't want to upset the higher-ups, so they didn't stop the subway service. And there are horrifying videos of people stuck in the subway as it's filling up with water, filming and live streaming that, hey, we can't get out of here, the water's rising. And, hundreds of people, if not thousands of people died during the floods, not just in the subway, but in that big tunnel and everything. Yeah. So if you wanted to compare apples to apples, you can take a look at that subway footage of the flooding in New York City, which I'm pretty sure no one died because we would have heard about it. The entire world would have heard about it if people drowned in the New York subway. All right? And if you want to compare it to when badly planned and badly managed subway stations and systems in China are flooded, where people die. Yeah.
And it just goes beyond that too. I mean, these comparison things are so dumb.
They're so dumb. You can't cherry pick and say, look at this 100-year-old thing during a natural disaster, and look at this brand new thing that's just been built like a month ago.
What they'll do is they'll show like a homeless drug addict guy laying on the stairs, right, in San Francisco or something. Sure. And then the other picture is China, and it's like a high-speed rail.
Yes, you kind of compare.
Yeah, they don't. What do they have to do with each other?
The reason why I'm pointing this out is I just want people to be aware of the fact that Chinese propaganda is now slipping into the mainstream.
It looks like it.
Absolutely. If you've got big accounts tweeting stuff out like this, without any real context, without actually understanding the situation, and then it's getting boosted by, above me, I've blanked out their names, but very well-known Chinese propagandists are running with this.
Yes.
They love it. They're like, yes, look, USA bad, China good. Meanwhile, it's completely out of context, and it is straight up Chinese propaganda.
Yes.
So anyway, let's move on from this slopaganda and talk about something that I gotta rant about a little bit.
What?
A big part of China's propaganda, again, we're doing a lot of propaganda in this one, is Chongqing, the city of Chongqing. It has become the center of China's propaganda efforts. And we know why, behind the scenes, we understand why. But just so that you guys all understand, is the city of Chongqing now is being used as a poster child for how advanced China is and how amazing China is.
Yeah, it's like the cyberpunk stuff. It's everywhere.
So there have been a lot of people that we know are paid and people that we know are linked to Chinese state media, etc., that do these videos.
And there's also just travel bloggers that end up there, maybe get paid by tourist agencies or just get invited.
Yeah. A lot of people get invited. Not saying that everybody that you see here was, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of incentive for people to go to Chongqing. Yeah. And if you search anything about China, you'll start to see Chongqing popping up everywhere, right? Okay. Yeah. And one thing that they love, as if it's like this most incredible miracle in the entire world, is that there's this building where a train, like a monorail, goes through the building. Yeah. Okay, so I thought I'd show you just a quick smattering, a little smattering.
To Chongqing.
I like that. You would not get that in the UK. No way. This is incredible. I actually have no words. I honestly can't believe a train goes through an apartment block.
वो देखो बड़ी सी बिल्डिंग भी है तो अभी मैं भाई वहाँ से कहीं से निकलती है पहाड़ों में जाती है ये चोंगकिंग शहर में ना पॉल्यूशन वो मेट्रो नहीं है ये मोनोरेल है जो कि बिल्डिंग के अंदर जाती है
Taking a ride on subway line 2 to see the best views of the city before getting off at Lidzipa station. At this stop, there is actually a viewing platform which will offer you some incredible views of the city, because here the metro goes through a building.
So what? Dude, could they not get one not polluted day?
Yeah, no, that's the one thing I wanted to point out is that when you see this Chongqing propaganda, it's usually night footage.
Yes.
And they always show that Hongyadong building, the all lit up thing, and they show Chongqing at night because they turn all the LEDs on all the buildings and it looks nice. It looks futuristic. Yeah. But the problem is that even their propagandists that go out there to try and paint Chongqing as being this amazing place, they cannot catch a break. No. It's always polluted. And this is pollution, by the way. Yeah. It's not fog. If you go to the map and you search Chongqing, you will see how polluted it is most of the time.
Yeah, we covered this last time, the AQICN.org.
But it gets so bad. So anyway, the reason I decided to point this out is there's a little channel called Free China, and he recently did a video which really just pointed it out. There's another shill that went very recently, okay, to see this whole train thing, okay? So I just, the reason I'm talking about this is something that happened like a week ago.
Okay.
So people can try and say, oh, this is old footage. This is from a year ago. This is from 3 years ago. This is from like a few months ago. How about like a week ago or so?
A building.
Not this guy.
We actually were just on that monorail. Just went through the
This is
building.
just another example.
So now we're going to go outside and show it from the other side. Show the penetration.
Everyone's just waiting for this one moment where the train goes through. And
All the people going to watch this train.
Yeah.
I feel like this is, what is it called when like somebody says that you have to think something is cool and then so everyone thinks it's cool?
Yeah.
What is that called?
It's
That's
called
a phenomenon.
It's called like gaslighting or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what
It's
this
pretty
is.
much, yeah,
Train
you will be
gaslighting.
impressed by this.
Rail lining.
Yeah.
go train.
This guy seemed kind of sarcastic about
I think
it.
I think he knows what's what. Anyway, now this is the one I was talking about. Okay,
South
very
African
recently,
girl.
yeah. So let's see. Welcome to the videos of the truth about China. Let's see.
That's so on the nose.
Yes, I just want us to take a look and see, has the air quality improved?
Okay.
Because this is like,
recent.
this is very recent, like a week or two ago, whatever. Very
Videos
recent.
of the truth about China. Like we're standing here and discussing this, right? Like I don't know if I'm not that smart when it comes to buildings and architecture, I don't know, but I just don't understand how is this possible. Like this is so complicated. A train is literally going through apartment buildings, like not just one apartment, right? It's literally a whole floor, and then it's not just the top of one apartment. There's like a whole different building at the back as well. I don't know how they do
yeah.
it. It is mind blowing to even think about it. Yeah. Like I'm wondering if it's even that stable, but anyway.
So
She like lost her train of thought there.
absolutely, I guess it is mind blowing, you know, for her. But let's take a look, because she has a little montage of traveling there. So I thought, hey, let's take a look. Maybe it's improved. Let's see. Let's take a look, quick look. Nope.
Gosh.
Imagine this is your propaganda.
I am here at the famous.
Look at the view. Look at the view.
Yeah, look the view.
Do
Is
we have
that-
a soundbite for look the view?
We don't,
Oh.
unfortunately. But this is supposed to be like, I'm going to show you how amazing China is, the truth about China. This.
China, you had something so good when we were just going around not working for the government, filming our documentaries, meeting real people in China. We showed beautiful China.
Yep.
We showed the stuff that wasn't getting any attention. You keep highlighting this trash.
This stupid
This
train.
trash cities with trash trains and trash pollution.
Yeah.
Nobody's impressed by this.
No, this, you can't, it's not possible to be impressed by this.
No.
This particular scene. Look at it. You know, that sky.
Train subway station here in Chongqing. It is so cool. By the way, I have never found so many people stare at me. I feel pretty cool. That was really cool to see. I was like, what are all these people staring at? That was actually just cool. But yeah, this is an apartment building.
No, they don't. The Chinese government doesn't want anyone to talk to.
Nope. So, I mean, I just thought everyone's getting so excited about this.
Yeah. It's like,
But why?
I don't
It's
know, but I just don't understand
Florida.
how is this possible.
open in
It's so complicated. A train
1971.
is literally going through building. I don't know how they do it. It is mind blowing to even think about it.
It is mind-blowing if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
A train going through a building?
I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Look at
Yeah.
this.
Like that, you would not get that in the UK. No way.
No.
This is incredible. I actually have no words. I honestly can't believe a train goes through an apartment block.
How about a hotel lobby? What about this random train in Ohio?
It's so... Oh my
I don't
gosh.
know, but I just don't understand how is this possible. Like this is so complicated. The train is literally going through building. I don't know how they do it. It is mind blowing to even think about it.
Yep.
Like that, you would not get that in the UK. No way. This is incredible.
I don't know, but I just don't understand how is this possible. Like this is so complicated. A train is literally going through building. I don't know how they do it. It is mind blowing to even think about it.
Yeah, okay, before we get to that, I just wanted to point out how absolutely absurd this idea of something going through something is mind-blowing.
I honestly think it's gaslighting.
It is because, okay,
who cares?
A monorail going through that, okay, it's not special. Because let me just spoil it for everyone. We've had underground trains for the longest time. They go through the ground. They go through underneath cities. They go through everything.
That's more impressive.
You know what's more impressive is digging a tunnel through a freaking mountain.
Yeah.
Never mind building an apartment building and a monorail at the same time. By the way, there's a lot of misinformation about this.
Yeah.
This was built together. Okay? So it was like, we're just going to build the apartment building and the monorail as one thing.
We saw some shills that were coming up with these random stories about how they had to come to an agreement about
land disputes.
I was here first. No, I came, and then they agreed.
And also the apartment building was there, but then they retrofitted it and changed it. No. It was all just built at the same time, and it's nothing impressive. If to just help this little Burumesi understand over here, okay, it's
What's that
this
mean in
Baya
Afrikaans?
Makluk. It means farm girl. Just, she's definitely farm girl. This Baya Makluk, okay? All you do in order to pull this off, this amazing technology, is you use concrete and you use rebar and you use Western construction standards that were introduced into China in the recent past, and you can build this. This is very easy to do.
You know what's really interesting too? I was doing a little research on this, and I found a lot of coordinated campaigns for this particular train thing. But not only that, I found a lot of coordinated campaign people on places like Quora and stuff that would immediately reply to anyone that said, specifically, wow, I would hate to live in that building. It must be so loud. And it would get immediate replies saying, a lot of care and attention was put into the sound deadening material, so it's no louder than a dishwasher. It was like over and over again everywhere.
Yeah, they're trying to just completely whitewash this. They don't need to whitewash it. The sky does it for them.
Smog washing.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be a new thing.
You know this gate tower building in Japan, okay? Yeah. That is something that is a result of a land dispute from ages, from the Meiji era or something. And they were like, okay, they came to a compromise. Let's just build it together. And that highway tunnel is actually suspended on a bridge. It doesn't touch the building in any way.
Right.
So it doesn't carry vibrations through, etc. That's been very well planned. Yeah. That particular thing.
I think maybe just don't build stuff through stuff if it's unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. This only happened because of a land dispute.
Sure.
The one in Chongqing was built it's
like a party trick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It didn't have to happen.
But you know what it has definitely done is it has exposed, first of all, a massive propaganda push. Whenever you see that Chongqing train thing going through a building, you know that's something to do with promoting China.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And it's also just shown everybody how crappy the air quality in Chongqing is. Because these are literally people going there to try and show you how cool China is.
Yeah.
They would not film if there was a better day to film. They would not film on that day, but that's all they got. That's what they got.
I mean, we tracked the pollution last time, right?
Yeah.
And it was just bad every day.
Yeah, they're literally like, holy crap. By the way, these are different channels from visiting at different times of year, and you can see every single time the train, I mean, this particular one over here is like 3 years ago.
This is what happens when a city gets a propaganda push, by the way.
Yeah. By the way, there's a huge push to get Indian dudes now to go out and do propaganda for China. It's massive.
And dudettes. I found a female-led channel.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. Chongqing is the next big propaganda push, so you're going to see more and more videos and things about Chongqing.
It being in the future.
Yeah, and remember, when you see those pretty like lights at night, they film at night for a reason. And this is the reason right here, is that it is horribly polluted and they don't want you to see that.
There's a good comment from Eastwood 400. He said that the train is no louder than a 5G AI nuclear battery-powered dishwasher.
That's very true. Yeah. That's very true. Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the PLA, People's Legit Army.
People's Legit Army. They dropped a new song.
They did,
by the way, and they have they're another troop.
Okay.
Another troupe put together a new song and dance for us. I hope you guys enjoy today's People's Legit Army.
Okay, let's get right into it. In fact, I'll get us out of there if you don't mind. By the way, the source of this Japan footage was only in Japan. Great channel.
Hold on, pause that real quick. What was the source?
Oh, yeah, the source.
My source is that I made it the f*** up.
But no, seriously. Anyway, let's
People's Legit
continue.
Army.
Yeah.
Put your hands up if you're in. Close your eyes, make a wish. I'll make love to you like you want me to. And I hold you tight, baby, all through the night. I'll make love. Whenever I'm wrong and I sing it, you'll be right and understood. I want you back, I want you back, I want you back for good.
Beautiful rendition.
Yeah, not too bad. I kind of miss Chomp Nom though, so I think we might have to bring him back.
Chomp Nom can't be there every time.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's true.
But it was good.
Excellent. So now it's time for us to move on to our main segment, everybody, which of course is the Soft Power Hour, where we talk about how China is there to change your mind. And this next segment is important, okay?
Yeah. And it's not funny.
No, it's unfortunately not fun. It's very serious. So let's just start by letting her introduce herself. Sorry.
Or what happened.
Yeah.
At that moment, I had already known that someone was re-uploading my YouTube content to Chinese social media websites, which was annoying but didn't bother me too much. But when I went to check the links this person sent me alongside their message, I was shocked.
很感动。当全世界都在给俄罗斯难看时，只有你们中国的兄弟姐妹没抛弃我们。俄罗斯的农村。
Yeah.
So this is what happened. And by the way, the link to this video is down below. We want you, after the show, or you can open another tab. We want you to go over there and say the China show sent you.
Yeah, give her a little bit of support because she's in a bit of a hard situation right now. She's not a big YouTuber. She's a small-time YouTuber. And she just got alerted by some of her followers that her image was being used on Chinese social media.
Yeah. We're going to go through this, but
yeah.
I want to show you this real quick. This is her. She doesn't speak Chinese, by the way. And I'm looking in the comments here in our chat, and I actually wanted to do this first before we ran out. I want to see what people were going to say. Okay. Guess what?
What?
People are saying, wow, she speaks Chinese, right?
It's not her.
She doesn't speak Chinese. This is not just a re-upload. This is not just a person pretending to be someone. This is not just using an AI model to make someone have a face filter that looks like you. Like we could do a face swap.
Sure.
This is a girl that is online, separate from the Chinese internet, that has been used to make hundreds, if not thousands, of accounts that make her speak like her normal voice in Chinese to promote Chinese propaganda.
Yeah, so
it's insane.
They've taken her image and her voice and they've cloned it using AI and they've created new personas on the Chinese internet. Everything you see here is fake. That's fake, that's fake, that's fake. Some of it's very convincing.
It looks real as hell.
As you'll see. We'll continue to play a little bit here.
真是个奇妙的地方。
All fake. See this?
I find the craziest thing is, yes, we all know you can do a deep fake and stuff like that, right? But this is to a point where it has realistic motion and the voice is speaking a different language in her voice with the way that she would move her mouth in the videos.
Yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
This is not Olga. Her name is April and she's been living in China for 8 years. She has my voice, my face, and she speaks fluent Mandarin. And here's Natasha. She's the 31-year-old Russian woman who decided to come to China to sell and advertise Russian food. I kept checking the links, terrified to realize that there's not one, but an army of my clones, each getting thousands of likes and comments. But the worst part of the story, and I didn't give it another thought until I saw my face circulating in Chinese social media. I then translated the videos with Google Translate and figured out the most terrifying part. The narratives my clones were voicing sounded like blatant propaganda. Every single account that used my face seemed to have a hidden agenda that they were pushing.
Where she likes saying how much she likes Russia and how much Russia needs Chinese economic support. And let's see what she actually has to say in regards to it. Russian people will always remember. I really appreciate China. While everyone else is moving away from Russia, only China.
Can I just pause that for you? You realize she's Ukrainian.
And we'll get to that in a sec because she points that out.
Of course, but you realize she's Ukrainian, and they're using her as a Russian propagandist on Chinese social media, along with Putin.
Yes. So this actually tracks perfectly well for us because right now what we are seeing is a lot of the people that work for the Chinese government, so Canadians, Americans.
Yeah, specifically, there's a lot of Canadians.
A lot of Canadians for some reason. You have Brits. You have people from all over the world, right? But these, we call them shills, right? The people that are CCP apologists.
Yeah.
We saw them all of a sudden doing Russian propaganda.
Yes, pro-Russia propaganda.
We covered this ages back, but we saw this almost, there was a specific conduit channel we saw that this was happening through. And then all of a sudden now they're doing both. So this tracks perfectly with what we've been seeing the shills do.
Yeah.
And so what they've done is effectively repurpose this Ukrainian woman and made her into a fake Russian through AI and made her do something that she potentially doesn't believe in.
Not potentially.
Potentially. So I'm saying like this could be used across the gamut. Maybe they can make you do something that you love. Maybe they make me rollerblading.
Yeah.
You know
I'm just saying in this case they're 100% making her do something she doesn't believe in.
Correct.
Okay, let's see.
China is behind the quiet support. When other countries reject Russian stuff, it's your support to help Russia meet its immediate needs. China and Russia are good neighbors. China-Russia friendship lasts forever. And then she proceeds to advertise her Russian candies, and you can actually go here and you can buy the candies that she's advertising, which is kind of crazy because, for example, I haven't made even like a $1 from YouTube at the moment, and she already uses my face. They already use my face to make a profit. And this is the other clone. Her name's April, and the storyline that they came up with for her is that she's been studying in China, and then she decided to stay in this country because she likes China so much. I think China is the most powerful country.
Yeah, look at that.
That's important to point out.
I think China is the most powerful country. I like China. Do you welcome Russian girls to marry in China?
You see how this
Friends,
works?
I'm here.
I think and I don't know. I'd love to talk to her at some point, but I think she's done a great job of pointing out the different uses that these avatars or these personas that have been created are being used.
These clones of her.
The clones.
That's what they are. They're just clones.
They're clones,
They're copies
right?
of her.
I do think that people are using them for money-making purposes. However, like with the candy thing, these are definitely very heavy in the propaganda side of things. And I say that because a lot of these accounts are saying things that would lure Chinese people into a nationalist trap. Yeah. Where they're like, oh, I bet Russian girls will come to China to marry Chinese, right? That's a common thing that you see. And then it's like promoting the relationship between Russia and China. And there's a reason they're doing that right now. And that's because the rest of the world has looked at what Russia's done in Ukraine, has looked at what China's been doing on the global stage, period, and said, wow, this is getting pretty bad. They've pretty much just got each other now, right? So this promotion of this relationship is incredibly important to both of those countries.
And I think the reason they chose her is she looks like what the stereotypical idea of a Russian in China is.
Yeah.
We know this, having been up north on the border of Russia. You get that. People used to mistake us for Russians all the time.
Every time I was up there.
But the idea in China of a Russian woman is always a blonde-haired, kind of blue-eyed, girl.
Yes. But I mean, like anywhere you're up there, I was always, because I used to live up north, I was always mistaken as a Russian. A lot of people knew some Russian words and they would say them to me and I'd be like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
I only speak Chinese.
So, I mean, she obviously fits that typecast that they're looking for, and they thought, okay, we're going to use her as a Russian woman who says China's amazing and Russian-China friendship needs to grow. And, it's spread. They just decided this is the typical image. Let's copy her.
China. And then she's saying, do you welcome Russian girls to marry in China? And she's saying,
let's look at some of these. I know she's reading them, but let's look at them ourselves. I hope the Sino-Russian friendship will last forever.
Straight in line with what we've been seeing.
Yeah. Why do Russian girls love something? Probably China, Do you like such a Russian?
I hope the Sino-Russian friendship.
Yeah. Why do Russian girls like China so much?
It will last forever. And what's interesting is that it's not only Natasha and April. There's also dozens of other clones that you can see right here. And all of these clones is what you guys have been sending me, because some people have been sending me all of these different accounts that I didn't even know existed.
In the hundreds of videos that I've watched, the majority of my clones seem to talk about how great the relationship between Russia and China is and how much Russia needs Chinese economic support. It seems like the main narrative of these clones is to strengthen the relationship between these two countries, presenting me, or my clone, as a Russian POV. As a Ukrainian, this has obviously been infuriating for me. After all, my family has to hide during air raid sirens, and hundreds of thousands of my fellow Ukrainians are getting displaced, injured, or killed because of the Russian attacks. And now I'm seeing the copy of myself, my clone, advocating and sympathizing with the Russian Federation.
I don't even know if someone's writing the scripts for these fake videos. Like, having read so much Russian propaganda in my life, this almost feels like some official endeavor, which is very similar to Russian troll armies on Twitter. But the truth is, it can also be a fully automated model where everything starting from the script is automated. They can scale this clone to hundreds of copies, and then some of them can become viral, and then you can generate more engagement by just sticking to the most successful storylines.
If you check the recommended videos next to my fakes, you can actually see tons of videos with girls whose faces look kind of unnatural and filtered, which actually reveals that they're also fake. Actually, you might have been copied there as well and have no idea, just like I didn't know before someone noticed me there and told me about it. Real influencers put their AI digital clones in live streams where the clone is reviewing the products the influencer.
Yeah, she's talking about in China.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget, as we've told you all before, all social media people and influencers in China use face filters.
Yes.
All of them.
Yeah.
100%. So if you see something looking a little unnatural, it's normal because you expect that the person's using a face filter.
It's also explained away.
Yeah.
Right? You'd be like, oh, of course, that's not AI, that just looks like a face filter.
So yeah, even if you were to see her clone and think,
Yeah.
hey, there's something fishy here, you would put it down to a face filter and you wouldn't put it down to it being AI, which
Yeah.
makes it even worse.
Yes.
You know? What she's explaining here is that it's quite common in China at the moment. While live streamers are doing live streams, they'll have like multiple live streams going at the same time. So they'll have their main live stream, and then they'll also live stream their AI clone selling the product, you know, so you can go buy on a different stream type thing. So it's something that happens in China, which is kind of crazy.
Influencer is supposed to review. And then they're going to be able to generate even more revenue and more views without actually participating themselves in the live stream.
Yeah, so go back to that. I just want to freeze frame. I want to talk a little bit about this.
Yeah.
So we kind
This
of...
one over here?
It doesn't matter. We could maybe put her back on.
Yeah, I'll put her clones.
Yeah, put her clones back on. Now, this is something that we have seen inklings of through Chinese state propaganda. And what we've seen is that they have used, and this has usually been very sloppy.
Yeah.
But in the beginning of all this, what they were doing is we saw Xinhua do this. We saw People's Daily, like big top Chinese state outlets, using AI models.
Yes, very bad ones.
Very bad ones, but using baked in like free trial versions of voices. And one common one that we used to hear all the time was
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's
voice. He was the Confucius, remember the AI Confucius?
But he was on a bunch of videos.
Yeah.
He was the voice of many things. And this was kind of the first inkling we had ages and ages and ages ago that this was about to be a thing.
Yeah.
What happened was, and just the nature of AI in general, is that things snowball and compound faster than any tech that we've seen before because it's self-learning, it's self-improving, and it's constantly evolving.
Sure.
So we're now seeing it get to the point where, this big scandal because there's a lewd video of a celebrity that was deepfaked into something, to where it can be scaled to the thousands in minutes, technically, with anybody. Because before, what it would do is it would take tons and tons of Hollywood footage or tons and tons of social media posts and have to really work really hard to combine all those things. Now, according to her, there's a Chinese company that only charges about $1,000.
Yeah.
And all they need is about a minute of footage of you.
Yeah, and then they can generate your AI fake, which you can then just write a script and it says it.
Correct. And then you can get AI to duplicate those and replicate those for different purposes.
Yes.
And this has happened with a girl that has a very small YouTube following, like we said earlier.
That's why it was so successful. If it had been a big celebrity, it would have been caught out earlier.
Right.
And then maybe something could be done about it. But here's the thing. There is nothing she can do about it.
No.
Because if you try to somehow take some legal action in China, it's impossible as a foreigner outside of China to do this.
Yes.
Even a foreigner inside of China.
Yes.
It's just impossible. You can't do it.
There's one even worse part of this.
What's that?
And that's if, worst case scenario, which I believe to be true, let's say this is a state-involved thing that involves both Russia and China's propaganda outlets or some other department in China and Russia doing this.
Yeah.
There would never be legal recourse ever.
No.
This would be a way to weaponize people against their own country and to use them for domestic propaganda as well.
Yeah.
And that's dystopia.
It's bad. It's really bad. This whole situation is bloody awful. So again, the link to her video is in the description. We'd love for you to go over to her video, maybe leave her a supportive comment, give her a thumbs up, and the China show sent
Her
me.
name's Olga. I think she, if she could become a great precedent to get this information out there, because this is a new frontier of something no one's ready for.
This is a canary in the coal mine.
Yeah.
Is what this is.
She is.
So you can see this happening, and it's still at the point where you can kind of tell it's fake. That's going to go away soon, where you won't
that could
be able
months before that's like it could be a couple months, and then it's 100% believable because we went from Will Smith eating spaghetti, which is just nightmare fuel, AI, right? Is all crazy and stuff, to this in a very short amount of time.
Correct.
And the voice thing is the craziest part because you have people speaking fluent languages they don't even speak.
Yeah.
You're able to put words in people's mouths, create faces, and people that are not real anymore. And I think we're getting to a point where we're living in a post-truth world, something I've been trying to cover on my channel quite a bit. With the amount of social media that people consume, the amount of short-form media, and all these other things that have really changed people's perspective on what they can even pay attention to anymore, a post-truth world, I think, is very close around the corner.
Yeah.
To where it doesn't matter if things are real or not anymore because people just scroll past it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not
You
good.
might watch this and think, oh, China and Russia friendship is great, and then move on.
And you move on.
And that's ingrained in your mind. Meanwhile, you've been told that by a completely fictional, made-up Chinese propaganda thing. Now, again, this is twofold. It's being used, obviously, as a way to sell goods and things. So there's a commercial reason to do this, okay? So it can be private individuals who are like, hey, you know what? We can just use this woman's face and voice to sell knockoff candies, all right?
Yes.
Let's do that. Easy. And we can do this whole like China-Russia friendship thing to generate simps to give us money. You know, like you see all this stuff about like, do Russians like marrying Chinese men and stuff like that? So all the Chinese men watching all these live streams and stuff will be like, hey, I got a chance. I'm going to send her an online gift. I'm going to buy her goods. You know, it's that whole getting that sort of side of things, which, you know, the live streaming in general around the world is kind of all about that. But, you know, there's that side of it. But at the other side, there is 100% a possibility that this is linked to the Chinese government because this is the kind of propaganda they want.
Yes.
And if it's not linked to them, they absolutely love this and will endorse it by not taking action.
Yes.
You know, because
that's actually a good point.
There's something that everybody tends to forget, and that is that the Chinese internet is the most censored and monitored internet in the entire world.
Yeah.
Nothing happens on the Chinese internet unless it's approved by the Chinese government.
Correct. That's correct.
So, you know, the fact that this is going on means that the Chinese government has seen it and has been like, okay, this is cool. We like this. They will only ever allow things that don't go against their narrative, right?
Yes.
So just bear that in mind.
Yeah, I just want to pull up something real quick.
Sure. What are you pulling up?
So China, if we look at Internet Freedom Index, which I think is important, and I think it really goes to show your point that everything has to be approved.
Yes.
China's Internet Freedom Index is 9 out of 100. And in fact, it ranks at the very bottom of the entire world out of every country in the world.
Yeah.
And we're not including countries like North Korea because they basically have an intranet, right? It's not really an internet for public consumption. The internet in China is effectively its own domestic, guarded, walled-off thing.
Yeah, if anything is on there that they don't like, they block entire words, and they block their own national anthem.
Yes.
When sections of the national anthem were being used as a protest, they blocked their own national anthem. You could not search it.
Yeah.
You could not on the internet. Peng Shuai, anything that's a little bit controversial, it's from small to big. Something bad happens, you know, they they just completely blank it out.
Yes.
Okay. So if there was anything that they didn't want, it'd be blanked out. So they
Correct.
want. This is something they want.
So to finish this off, something she said in her video was that China effectively came up with an idea for a law, which means that someone has to have written consent to be able to be made a copy of through AI. That law never came to fruition.
No.
Right. So there's no recourse for this.
Yeah.
There's no, I think to go back to, if this is a state decision from China and Russia, it doesn't matter if there was a law put in place, because this is what they're using for propaganda now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's effed up.
You know, what's really effed up is using a Ukrainian to do Russian propaganda with images of Putin.
It's so crazy to me that it seems on purpose.
That's like getting, a famous Jewish person to do Nazi propaganda.
Yes.
It is.
It is. It absolutely
seriously.
is. It's mid-conflict.
If they took Anne Frank
Yeah.
and made her with Hitler together and be like,
Endorsing
Nazis are great or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
That's what this is.
That's where we're at right now.
Can people not see how evil this is,
Yes.
for lack of a better word?
Yes.
Right? This is what China is doing. This is what the Chinese propaganda machine is doing. And they're being allowed to do it without repercussions. They're being allowed to spread malicious lies across the internet. And everyone's like, oh, that's fine.
I don't understand how the world has been so lenient on both of these countries in terms of allowing them to get away with things like
Yeah,
that.
especially the hijinks they get up to
Yeah.
on social media platforms abroad, which they have, by the way, banned in their own country.
Right.
Like Twitter.
Oh yeah, never forget that.
Yeah, Twitter, Facebook, all YouTube.
What
all-
you're watching on
Yeah.
right now is
Yeah.
blocked in
You
China.
cannot access it from China. It's
Yet
not
they
allowed.
can. State media accounts use it all the time
Yeah.
so that you can see propaganda
Yes.
from China.
As long as it's a useful tool for propaganda, they use it and they take advantage of the loopholes. It's disgusting.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wake up, world. Wake up.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's time for us to move on to our next segment today, which is what is our next segment today?
Well, let's find out.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to pull it up. Give me a second. We're not done yet, guys.
We ain't done yet. We got
And
something fun.
Please, before we move on to the next segment again, please seriously go over and show a little bit of support.
For
Because,
sure. I actually pinned it in the chat.
Yeah, just imagine that you were cloned and used for nefarious propaganda stuff against your morals and your own way of life.
Yes.
So she needs a little bit of a
Say that China
pick me
show
up.
sent you and show her some love.
Absolutely. Now, next, we're going to do Beyond the Great Firewall.
And this is a new segment, by the way. Pause it right there.
Oh, it's funny.
It's funny.
Kind of.
No, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Oh, yeah, but it's also pretty mean.
It's
anyway.
It's funny from from a mean point of view.
Yes. Now, listen.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. We got this new segment with these suggestions from our beautiful audience.
Yeah.
Beyond the Great Firewall is where we use our language skills to take you past the firewall in China and show what people are consuming in China.
Yes.
What's going viral in China, what people are enjoying on the internet. And usually that revolves around viral media. And right now on Douyin, which is Chinese TikTok, there is a massive, huge viral push, not a push, but a viral repertoire of content about flight stewardess or air stewardess or
Air
flight
hostess.
attendants.
Yeah, flight attendants.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it all comes to a crux because it starts off as rather fun and whatever. And it goes like this obsession with flight attendants around the world. And it goes into some very mean things. But I'm going to start off with what is going viral that isn't so mean first.
Okay, so
if
let's
you
take
pull
a
up the Chinese internet right now, there's a lot of videos
不同国家的
that
空姐
go
开关舱
around
门。
showing different flight stewardess or air hostesses or whatever you want to call them around the world.
Yeah.
How they close airplane doors.
I'm in a very weird spot right there.
Oh, you are. How they close airplane doors.
Okay, all right.
So this is America. So they show a woman from America. Then we have this is Russia. We have Japan. Right. This is showing the different countries around the world how they close airplane doors. This is how it was. This is Ukraine. Wow, it's not a deep fake.
Yeah.
This is India.
Wouldn't have known otherwise.
Yeah. This is Thailand. This is Malaysia.
What a bizarre, like...
what a weird trend.
It's like a fetish or something.
I mean, it is and it isn't, because...
Indonesia.
Indonesia. So, it is and it isn't. It comes off like that, Philippines. It comes off like that, but it's so wildly popular, and there's men and women in the comment section, right? And I think there's actually that's Canada, there's some genuine interest in how things work outside the world, and I think we can explain this away.
Here's China.
China. And that's because most Chinese people don't get a chance to go abroad.
No, they don't.
So this is a way of international travel in a way.
Yeah.
You get to see the outside world, right?
That
That being said, this gets weird because there is this video of this older woman from America, a flight attendant, right? That is in thousands and thousands of Douyin videos, right? And it's all surrounding the same story, and that is why Chinese flight attendants are beautiful and fair-skinned, and why Americans use middle-aged aunties. And when they say middle-aged aunties, they're actually talking about old women, right? And it starts off as like a genuine curiosity question, but it's like this really mean thing about how China is so much better than America because America has old flight attendants. I'm not even joking. Like it's in thousands and thousands of videos of the same clip, right? So I just wanted to show you a cookie cutter format that you'll see. This says Chinese flight attendants all have fair-skinned, long-legged beauties, right?
You know, they're not wrong.
Yes, but did I say they're wrong?
No, I'm just saying they're not wrong.
But there's a reason they're doing this.
Before we even get into this, we do have to talk about the fact that China has discriminatory hiring practices, but legally.
Yeah.
So if you're a boss and you want to hire someone, you can specify they must weigh how much, how tall they are, they must be good looking, or you can say this much hair length, this not, it must have light skin. That you can put down in your job advert, and it's legal. And then they'll measure you and be like, you're not tall enough, you can't get this job, you cannot apply for this job.
By the way, a resume in China, not just about flight attendants.
Yeah, for everything.
Resume for everything, you must include your picture.
Yes, I've told the story before, but I used to help with hiring at a school that I used to work at. And so people would send in their resume. Especially Americans didn't like this. They hated this. And you're like, sorry, but you need to include a picture. And they're like, that's discrimination, etc. I'm like, well,
that's China.
There's nothing we could do about that. That's how China operates. And they do operate that way.
They do.
You know? So anyway, let's see where this goes.
American
attendants are old aunties whose wrinkles could trap and kill flies. This is kind of a newer phrase.
It's kind of mean. It's kind of mean.
This is the clip I'm talking about.
Could be your grandma, bro. Like,
Yes. So they keep showing this one. Doesn't the airline industry cater to the youth? And they keep showing
Doesn't the airline industry cater to the youth?
Well, it means isn't it a young industry, like for young people? You know what I mean?
Are they talking about the people that go fly?
It's both. The way I read
this, is this a club? Do you need to have like sexy dancers in the club or something?
Well, this is how they portray it.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Go ahead. Flight attendants are all graceful and beautiful. They wear uniforms, have elegant manners, and warm, thoughtful service to make people feel like a spring breeze. Continue.
Yeah, okay.
I'll explain.
All right.
What's surprising is that the USA, which claims to have the world's strongest airline...
Do they? Do they though?
This is called
American Airlines? It's like, I've never heard that before.
No, neither have I.
Oh, American Airlines is the strongest airline.
That's what we go, actually, as Americans, we go around saying that all the time.
I've never heard that before. It's made up nonsense.
I met this guy the other day from Slovenia, right? And I was like, tell me a little bit about Slovenia. And I immediately cut him off and I said, tell me about their airline.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't even know if we have. I say, yeah, exactly. America's the strongest airline in the world. That's what I said to
I
him.
can picture you saying
and then
that.
I pushed him in the mud.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, haha, your airline sucks.
Yes, exactly.
Our American Airlines,
That's what I said.
Who the hell says that? Anyway, okay, so apparently Chinese people...
I like how they don't show an American airline, by the way. It's
no.
a Dutch airline.
KLM?
Yeah, it's Dutch.
So apparently Chinese people, according to the Chinese internet, think that America goes around saying that the USA has the strongest airline.
Yes.
Do we? Yeah, okay, let's continue.
So it says the stewardesses have ordinary looks, and actually
Yeah.
what they mean by that is that they're ugly. That's what they're implying.
That's what they're
here,
implying.
right? And that,
Yeah.
okay.
的空气
Okay.
颜值普遍一般，甚至很多都是头发
Lots of them have gray hair and wrinkles on their faces, and they keep using this clip.
They
of
keep
this
using
woman.
that same woman was filmed by
She was-
somebody.
It's actually no. This is this woman. It was part of a documentary.
Oh, it was?
And they keep clipping it out and using it in thousands of Douyin videos to be like, look how ugly and old stewardess is in America.
What?
I feel really bad for her.
It's-
She's
yeah.
like, she obviously
I mean, that's
served
good
for a long time.
That's good. That means that,
Yeah.
she's
She's
able
taken
to hold
care
a
of
job and
yeah.
do her thing. And, that's kind of part of the American thing is not to discriminate as long as people can do the job right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's I think it's a beautiful thing.
Sure.
Continue.
褶子满脸的大妈。
为什么中国的空姐到
Okay,
年
so
轻漂亮？
look, this is pervasive.
Yeah.
There's influencer after influencer. It's like, why in China are our flight attendants so beautiful, but in America they're old IEs or aunties, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, that fly comment was very rude.
It is very rude. Yeah. I mean, like it could be your grandma.
而美国的空姐清一色大妈
See,
呢
they keep，
这是因为
using
美国
her.
空姐们只是老了，她们曾经也是年轻漂亮的姑娘。
不同国家的空姐，美国。
Okay. Pause there. So there's different versions of this. So there's that whole thing where they say mean stuff and they're like, look, it's because America's bad. And I've actually seen ones that said America's crumbling and China's on the up and up. So you should feel lucky as a Chinese person
Yes.
that we have beautiful flight attendants. It means our country is prosperous, but America's poor and bad.
Yeah.
Right? It spiraled out of control.
That's how it goes.
But they also use her in these things. It's like, let's look at American stewardesses, let's look at stewardesses of different countries. First, they show America and they use her again.
Yeah. Poor old girl. Yeah.
印度。
And then it goes India. And then
Yeah.
And it's weird. It only kind of slams America in these videos.
Yeah.
埃塞俄比亚。
This is Ethiopia. So they show attractive women in every country except for America. They show like older women.
Yeah.
In all these videos. And then they're like, "Look, this is China." And they show like this is Pause it there.
The sound effects.
Pause that there.
Yeah.
Go back.
Okay, I'll go back a little bit.
So because of this, there's this trend, right, of showing that one particular older woman who's still a stewardess. And I'll give credit to some of the commenters. Some of the commenters were saying she's 82 years old, she's still working. That's actually a successful country where someone can be able-bodied and want to work. That's a good thing. It's a good sign. And some people are like really mean, right? This is horrible. What a terrible country America is because of these old, I don't want to look at old ladies when I'm on planes, right? So there was kind of battling between that. However, it devolved.
Yeah.
And so when you're scrolling through this trend of the American, it's called the American air hostess in Chinese, right? 美国的空姐 This is the trend. Then all of a sudden you get people's cell phone videos, not the documentary clip anymore. You get people's cell phone videos. Oh, I took this on an American airline.
Yeah, exactly.
And it shows an older woman with these sound effects and the soundtrack. I didn't add that.
No, I'm sure you didn't.
This one, this particular video, go back.
Yeah.
I want to read that.
Okay.
I didn't have time to translate it. So it says, when she was young, she was a air hostess, right? Now she's an air grandmother, right? So these clips are going around with these kind of not very nice clownish sound effects, and they're all over the place. So now it's a trend to film American old hostesses, air hostesses, and then post them on Douyin.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, if you feel that way, you should, for all politeness, you should probably keep that in your heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like the first time I flew on a plane in America, I was kind of shocked at like the state of the air hostesses compared to everywhere else I've traveled in the world because, that's the way America is.
Yep.
It's just all about, there's no discrimination.
It's also way deeper than that. It's about unions. It's about that it's not an attractive job for younger people.
Yeah, I get it. There's a huge thing, but like you go to various other countries, Singapore or all these different countries, they have like air hostess schools where they teach them.
China
they
does
basically
too.
breed them to be a specific look and a specific way, and it's something that couldn't fly in America because of the anti-discrimination laws. That's the thing. You kind of have to be from a discriminating country.
Yeah.
To have pretty air hostesses.
Yeah.
And that's something that
It's
was
an ecosystem, really.
America was like that in the 60s and so on, and things changed. So, it is what it is. But, you don't need to be mean about it.
No, I think the whole point I wanted to show you is that this is a phenomenon on the Chinese internet. But what was interesting was there's comments in support, and it's actually backfiring a little bit because they're trying to use this for nationalism. A lot of people in China aren't dumb, right?
Yeah.
They're like, well, I think this is really nice. This is like a successful society.
Sure.
But there's a comment there, like, for example, an example of a bad one says, like, the best way I could translate this is, doesn't she pass the scrapping law?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because in China, if a car is older than like 12 years
you have
or
to
whatever,
scrap
it has
it.
to be. So they're saying she's so old she should be put out to pass, or like scrapped, which is, that's just not a nice thing to say.
No, just people being mean. But again, the fact that it's become a huge thing on Chinese internet and it's being allowed to happen means it's being endorsed.
But let's tie this back to the main event of our show. What I did notice that this does have nefarious purposes. So as fun as this segment is supposed to be, you have a situation where people are genuinely interested in why American air hostesses are old and why Chinese ones are all pretty, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I started to notice this anti-American kind of tilt on the whole thing and how it's about a crumbling society versus a successful society in China, I also noticed a massive amount of promoting Russian air hostesses.
Mm-hmm.
And with the tilt on that being China and Russia's friendship is so good, so we support the beautiful air hostesses of Russia.
Yeah.
See how that works?
Yeah.
Pro-Russia, anti-America. There's always a propaganda kind of tilt on this stuff.
They seem to always use this same clip of this one air hostess.
And it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So again, it's never just an internet trend in China. I think this goes to your point about China endorses things it doesn't block. And if something exists on the Chinese internet, it exists for a reason many times.
Absolutely. If it's not supposed to be there, it's not there. If they don't like it, it's not there. If they like it, it's there.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Yes.
All right. So that's what's happening beyond the Great Firewall.
Correct.
What we have now next is a little plug for our friend Jordan Harbinger, big friend of the show.
Yes. And by the way, this is not a paid advertisement. This
No,
is our friend,
it's just friend. By the way, hate his thumbnails. Worst thumbnails.
Not the ones
in
you're looking
world.
at.
No, this is great, but
These
his
are great.
thumbnails on his YouTube channel suck.
You gotta let them know that they suck.
Yeah, they're like the worst thumbnails ever made on any YouTube channel.
When you go
if
to
there's
Jordan's,
like a Raspberry Awards for thumbnails, he would win.
When you go to Jordan's YouTube channel, by the way, and you go to the videos, there's ones of us, there's ones of everyone. If you go there and you, by the way, subscribe and tell them the China Show sent you, but then say change your thumbnails.
Yeah, your thumbnails suck.
From the China Show.
Yes.
And from the China Shows, we don't name our subscribers, whatever you want to call yourself.
Yeah.
And we need to kind of soft power or hard power him into changing these thumbnails.
Yeah, but thumbnails
are great.
thumbnails aside, he's an incredibly good host of a very successful podcast.
Yes. I thought this episode was very, very interesting. It's from Kashmir Hill. It's a interview, and it's called "Is Privacy Dead in the Age of Facial Recognition?" Some of the key points were, what is facial recognition technology? So you know when you open your phone, right, how it opens up, and how does it work? What are the positive use cases? Of course, you go over what is this good for? Well, it's definitely made our lives easier in terms of like getting access to our phones and also providing extra layer of security, right?
Yeah.
But another key point is what countries and governments are promoting facial recognition technology as part of other parts of life, and maybe why they're doing that. Because we've seen, and this is where it links to us, we've seen China just go absolutely nuts for facial recognition technology in every aspect. It ties to the social credit system, right?
Well, I mean, think about this. You know, the sort of biometric facial recognition stuff. That data can be used to create those fake AI
Bingo!
things.
This is where I was getting.
This will definitely help, right?
Yes. Is there a middle ground between outright banning of facial recognition technology and completely allowing it to keep tabs on us in a world where privacy is a quaint relic of a bygone era? And so this is her arguments that the facial recognition technology is basically the death's door for privacy in general. And if you think about what we just saw with the AI stuff, in many ways that's true. Maybe it could be reined in though. So definitely go check it out. It's jordanharbinger.com/948. It's totally free.
Yeah.
And then go to his YouTube channel, Jordan Harbinger Show.
And tell him his thumbnails suck.
And that
they suck donkey something.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. And tell him the China Show saying.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who don't know, on Monday we have a show. Look, Double Vision.
Double Vision.
It's a great song, by the way.
Yeah, it's great.
It's all about getting drunk.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is.
Anyway, let's get us out of here quickly so you can see what we're talking about here. This is what you missed on Monday's show.
Yeah.
such Chinese humor. Let's see what he's doing.
今天心情不太好，我莫名。
That's funny.
We had a fantastic episode.
Yeah, it was fun. Super
fun. So go over to patreon.com/ADVpodcast. Join us at the Xiaobanho tier. Remember, we have another show every single Monday. If you like this show on Friday, you're going to like our Monday show. Tends to be different types of material and stuff, but it is a full show.
Yeah,
it's not just like, oh, we're going to show you behind the scenes content.
No, it's nonsense.
You know, when people do that Patreon.
No.
We're going to give you extra shows early and show you behind the scenes. No, it's a whole another show.
Yeah, so the Xiaobanho is our VIP show every Monday. And if you're considering joining our Patreon, any tier of Patreon is going to give you a bunch of benefits, especially since next week we've got a big announcement. There's something new.
Huge.
Coming to all tiers of our Patreon. There's going to be a big new thing that you're going to get access to, which is going to be super fun. We can't wait for it.
Yes.
But as it stands, even the lowest tier patrons get access to the Discord server. They get the uncut versions of the show every week, that type of thing. Anyway, it's time for us to stop plugging ourselves and move on. You know?
Yeah, sorry. It sounds bad.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Now, you've probably heard about this, and if not, it's time to learn about this.
Yes, hopefully I can read it from here.
Yeah.
It's from AP and BBC. There is an online dump of Chinese hacking documents which offered a rare window into pervasive state surveillance. So there's this company called ISUN. And basically what it was is like hackers for hire.
Yeah.
And what it looks like is that the Chinese government, because their client list had Chinese government stuff on there, right?
Yeah.
Is that this company's kind of masquerading as this like cybersecurity company, but actually what it is like the government was paying them to hack people.
Yeah,
right?
and to develop tools to hack international organizations.
Yeah, so what happened was there was a disgruntled employee.
Seems like a disgruntled employee.
So it seems like, and via Twitter, they leaked stuff on GitHub. I guess it was like 190 megabyte file or something, and it had like client lists, victim sheets, and all like what the software.
I think it was bigger than that. I think it was a couple terabytes.
Okay, sorry. Anyway. Thought it was smaller. Anyway, are you sure? I'm pretty sure it was 190 megabyte file on GitHub.
I could be wrong.
Okay. Anyway, on GitHub, which is like kind of like a programmer forum. This was leaked, and then people are going absolutely crazy about it. So I have some things about it right
GitHub is great. That's where you can put designs for 3D printing or whatever. Like, it's being used by everyone.
Yeah, so this is from Washington Post. I guess this is one of the translations they did. It says, following the target, place links and induce targets to click on the evidence collection link. After the click is successful, you can obtain the target's Twitter account permission. So this is hacking social media accounts.
Yeah, it's how to hack. They've got tools to basically trick people into clicking on links that then they can gain access to your Twitter account, even if you have two-factor authentication enabled.
Yeah.
And then they hijack people's Twitter accounts. We see this a lot. A lot of the attacks that we get and the propaganda on Twitter come from obvious Chinese sources.
Because it looks like a real account.
And sometimes it is. Just a hijacked account. So there'll be an account that maybe hasn't been active for a couple of years, suddenly spewing out Chinese propaganda.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and it looks legit. It's like it's something that was started in 2007 or something by a dude, but it's a hijacked account.
Yes. I'll just go through these real quick. I have a clip from the news which actually explains it pretty easily.
Oh, okay.
There's another thing here. It says, India, the main targets are the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Defense of India. So it looks like they were, I mean, if these turn out to be true.
Oh, it's pretty true. I'm 100%. I am convinced it's true.
This is definitely what you want.
Yes,
I assure.
Yes, where is
This
that?
is definitely what you want, I assure.
Sustained deep penetration tracing of these, this is getting naughty, of these units offers the ability to unearth long-term value. So these are, I guess they're starting to translate some of this stuff because there's a lot of stuff there, right? It says the documents show how apparent ISUN hacking of networks across Central and Southeast Asia, as well as Hong Kong and the self-ruled island of Taiwan, which Beijing claims is territory. Obviously, why?
Yeah, these are some of the big targets. Yeah.
We know why they would want to hack Taiwan, especially around the election time, right?
Yeah.
The hacking tools are used by Chinese state agents to unmask users of social media platforms outside of China, such as X, formerly known as Twitter, break into email and hide the online activity of overseas
Do you know why that's important?
Why?
It's because if you've got a dissident on Twitter, for instance, they rely on the fact that they can anonymously post something. So they might post some very important information about the Chinese government, or they
Yeah.
post anti-CCP stuff on Twitter. They can use these tools to unmask them, find out their real identities, and then they can go and intimidate them, send people to go and mess with them, mess with
Yeah.
their families in China, etc.
Yeah. So that's actually the whole idea in China is like, of course, the Chinese government has access to everyone's social media in China, and they know who everyone is just because of how things work.
Yeah.
But when you use a VPN, let's say you're a Chinese guy in China and use a VPN to make an anonymous account on social media, let's say Facebook or Twitter or whatever, YouTube. The government, if they think, I guess, if they want to use these like hackers for hire or whatever, they can use their tools to figure out who you are, right?
Yes.
And that kind of disrupts the whole protection of being anonymous abroad, right?
Yes.
They're jumping the firewall already, taking a risk doing this, and now potentially they can figure out who they are. And that's kind of like an intimidation tactic in itself.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah, I like this part
Yeah,
of it here.
190 megabyte leak. Told
Yeah,
you.
you're right. I was thinking of another leak, a different one.
Leaky faucet.
There leaks happen all the time, man.
That's true.
Anyway, something that they're talking about here is they also described devices disguised as power strips and batteries that can be used to compromise Wi-Fi networks.
Yes.
By the way, just a little PSA to everyone out there, and this is something you should be aware of. When you're traveling and you're inside of airports, and they have those free chargers on the wall, where it's like charge your phone, you plug your cable into it, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe plug in your power bank or something to charge your power bank. Don't plug your phone into those things, because a lot of these sort of power points where you charge, they can be compromised and they can actually inject malicious code onto your phone.
Yes.
Because you are plugging your
Yes.
phone into a device which can then talk to it and potentially infect it with something. So just don't do it. And this, again, just reiterates that. And power bank. So, hey, you could be buying a power bank from Temu or something, and it arrives and it comes straight from China. It could be
Who knows?
a hacking device.
Who knows? Maybe the seller doesn't even know.
Yeah.
Right.
Power strips too. So just be careful.
Yes. So also, this is a little hole I found in China's story about this.
Okay, what is China's story?
So let's look at this. Can you
What
take this
what
out
is
of there?
China's story?
It says, until the 190 megabyte leak, ISUN's website included a page listing clients topped by the Ministry of Public Security, so that's a Chinese government organization,
Yeah.
including 11 provincial level security bureaus and some 40 municipal public security bureaus, okay?
What departments, yeah.
Departments, sorry. Another page available until early Tuesday advertised advanced persistent threat attack and defense capabilities using an acronym APT, one of the cybersecurity industry employs to describe the world's most sophisticated hacking groups. Internal documents in the leak describe ISUN's database of hacked data collected from foreign networks around the world that are advertised and sold to the Chinese police. So go to the next slide.
Okay.
I'm going to show you a little hole here.
Sure. Next slide coming up.
So this is from the BBC. Which
Okay.
they're obviously this is from the UK, right? They're going to focus on what if the UK was implicated in this,
Yes,
right?
yes,
It
yes.
says a Chinese cybersecurity firm claimed it had the ability to hack the UK's foreign office, leaked documents suggest. A little worrying.
Yeah.
It says UK government agencies, think tanks, businesses, and charities also appeared in the leaked ISUN data. Other documents hint at successful hacks of public bodies and businesses across Asia and Europe, but it is not yet clear if they are compromised. The identity of the leaker is unknown. China's UK embassy, so this is the Chinese government,
Okay, that's what they said.
said it was unaware of the leak and said China firmly opposes and combats all forms of cyber attacks in accordance with the law. Well, are you sure about that? So that's China at an official capacity saying that they condemn this kind of stuff when they were on the client sheet, apparently.
Yeah.
Liar.
Of course they don't condemn this. They want this. They
freaking did it.
Been doing this since the 90s. They love this. This is their bread and butter. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It is. They just exist only to hack.
Yes. Anyway,
Pretty
continue. We'll play the clip.
Okay, let's play a little clip for
There's
you.
an expert talks about it.
Okay, good. It's always good to have experts on. You know.
Yes, I'll just read the rest of the article here.
Okay.
It says ISUN's tools appear to be used by Chinese police to curb dissent on overseas social media. So you're right.
Yeah.
It's about like basically controlling the narrative for Chinese dissidents.
And flood them with pro-Beijing content. That's what I said. When they hijack these accounts
Yeah.
and they start posting this BS propaganda.
Yeah, you're on Twitter a lot. You see this all the time.
Yeah.
Authorities can surveil Chinese social media platforms directly and order them to take down anti-government posts, but they lack the ability on overseas sites like Facebook or X, where millions of Chinese users flock in order to evade state surveillance and censorship. There's a huge interest in social media monitoring and commenting on the part of the Chinese government, said Mareike Olberg, a senior fellow in the Asia program of German Marshall Fund. She reviewed some of the documents. To control public opinion and forestall anti-government sentiment, Olberg said, control of critical posts domestically is pivotal. Chinese authorities, she said, have a big interest in tracking down users who are based in China. The source of the leak could be a rival intelligence service, a dissatisfied insider, or even a rival contractor, said the chief threat analyst, John Holtquist of Google's Mandiant Cybersecurity Division. The data indicates ISUN sponsored also include the Ministry of State Security and China's military, the People's Liberation Army. So, I mean, this was not a little like mom and pop hacker service stuff. This is clearly, I had some big clients that are looking for stuff that they don't like.
Yeah, of course.
So just looking at this will sum it up.
Okay, let's sum it up then, shall we? Let's take a look.
These police are investigating hundreds of files leaked online last week. They purport to show Beijing's government agencies carrying out large-scale cyber attacks against foreign governments, companies, and more. The hundreds of files, images, and chats posted online are from a Chinese state-linked hacking group called ISUN, the office of which is seen in this video. The company was hired to break into the websites of firms across the world and exploit what hackers claim to be vulnerabilities in companies' software systems. I want to bring in now Charles Clancy. He is a chief technology officer of MITRE, a nonprofit company that studies national security issues. So, Charles, you testified on Capitol Hill earlier this month about the threat that China poses to U.S. infrastructure, and you predicted a large-scale cyber attack within 3 years. Do you believe that this attack is already underway?
I think over the last decade, we've seen dramatic increase in Chinese cyber attacks against the United States. But to be clear, really, the pattern of the last decade has been hacking into U.S. companies, U.S. government agencies, and research institutions, really to steal information. I think what we're seeing, though, particularly with China and their cyber program, is a shift from just hacking with the goal of stealing information to hacking with the goal of being able to exploit and destroy infrastructure.
And it's highly unusual for a leak of this nature to occur in China. Talk to us about its significance.
Yeah, I think a leak like this is rare in any country, including China. Certainly, the autocratic regime that we see in China is something that would limit people feeling comfortable doing an attack, a leak like this. I think that it clearly was done by a disgruntled insider, I think is the working theory, although we don't quite know yet. And it certainly provides a lot of information about the inner workings of the company ISUN.
So tell us how U.S. officials should respond now.
Well, interestingly, the information didn't show widespread attacks against the U.S. directly. Much of the discussion and the chats and so forth and the capabilities that were described were targeting other Southeast Asian countries. So I think this is an opportunity for the U.S. to really engage with those countries to highlight the risks that they face and really present a more united international cyber defensive front against China.
All right, Charles Clancy, thank you.
I actually want to segue into something super quick, something we saw. Yeah. In regards to the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative, is that this is an opportunity for countries to see that even when China is pretending to be your friend, they're pretending to be like, yeah, we're going to work together against the USA and all the West and all this stuff. And we're going to give you infrastructure projects. We're going to help you with your digital infrastructure, 5G networks, things like this.
Yep.
They're hacking and spying on you.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Remember the African Union building they built?
Yeah.
And then all the different government people moved in, and then they found microphones and hidden surveillance equipment in the building that China built for them.
Yes.
You know, it's just the way it goes.
It's so on the nose, like China's goals in the world. It's self-serving. It's to build an empire. Let's be totally honest.
Yeah.
And I think this is just another step to show that this is the case. We saw something in in Montenegro.
Oh yeah.
You actually get into that in your video, but like these unbelievable devastation that China's created in some of these countries that it's partnering to help.
Yeah, it's insane.
And it's just for really awful, terrible reasons.
Yeah.
Right. And I think this just goes to highlight that.
Well,
anyway,
yes, on that wonderfully high note, we're going to move over to our Q&A, which, of course, is Yamcha. This is where we answer your questions and you question our answers. Now, it's Friday, guys. Hope you're all ready to relax and have a fantastic weekend.
Yep.
I can't because I have to edit a video. Directly after this, I'm going to go home. I'm going to edit a video because I have to release it by tomorrow morning.
That's pretty sucky.
I might drink some sake and then you'll see a wonky ass video tomorrow. I'll tell you that. It'll be all weird.
I think you should.
Okay, good. Anyway, guys, time to loosen the tie. And how this works is the Q&A. Of course, you get to watch it live. We leave it up on the weekend, but we cut it out of the show on Monday. But if you're a patron of any tier, you get to watch the full thing anytime you want.
That's right. Oh, yeah, with the classic gifts of memberships. What?
Thank you, by the way. And if you are not sticking around, stay awesome. We'll see you next time.
Classic membership gifts. Thank you very much, Harry Tick, as well.